History is not just about the past, it's about us. Every rebellion, every empire, every downfall, it all echoes into today. But what if I told you one war 2,000 years ago shaped your world more than you think? What if one act of defiance changed an entire civilization forever? Tonight, we're diving into a war of faith, power, and survival, the First Jewish-Roman War. Buckle up. The year is 66 CE, and Judea is basically a pressure cooker about to explode. For decades, the Jewish people have lived under Roman rule, and let's just say, they're not loving it. Heavy taxation, corrupt governors, and the constant clash between Jewish religious traditions and Roman imperial demands have created a boiling resentment. Judea had been under Roman control since 63 BCE, first as a client kingdom under the Herodian dynasty, then fully absorbed into the empire in 6 CE. While some Jewish elites tried to play nice with Rome, others saw the empire as a direct threat to their faith and way of life. And then came Gessius Florus, the worst Roman governor you could imagine. His bright idea? Loot the temple treasury. Because that was definitely going to calm things down. Instead, it triggers a full-scale rebellion. In Jerusalem, Jewish insurgents rise up, drive out the Roman garrison, and basically tell the empire, we're done. But if there's one thing Rome does not tolerate, it's defiance. And so the empire gears up for war. Rome's response is swift and brutal. Emperor Nero sends in the big guns, Vespasian, a seasoned general, and his son Titus. Their mission? Crush the rebellion and make sure nobody else in the empire gets any funny ideas. Over the next few years, Roman legions systematically dismantled Jewish resistance, moving from Galilee in the north down to Judea in the south. City after city falls. One of the most brutal battles takes place at Jotapata in 67 CE, where Jewish fighters, led by the future historian Flavius Josephus, put up a fierce fight. The Romans, being Romans, respond with overwhelming force, leaving thousands dead. Josephus himself gets captured, and in an impressive display of survival instincts, he switches sides, offering to help the Romans as an advisor. Not a great look, but hey, it worked out for him. The war is far from over, though. The real nightmare is still to come. By 70 CE, the rebellion is hanging by a thread, and Jerusalem is about to face its darkest hour. The city, already weakened by food shortages and internal conflicts between rebel factions, is completely surrounded by Roman forces. What follows is one of the most brutal sieges in history. The Romans cut off supplies, starving the population into submission, while inside the city, different Jewish groups fight each other almost as much as they fight the Romans. It's a complete disaster. When the Romans finally break through the walls, it's absolute carnage. The temple, the sacred heart of Jewish religious life, is set on fire. The city is reduced to rubble. Tens of thousands are slaughtered, and countless others are taken as slaves or forced into exile. The destruction of Jerusalem isn't just the end of the rebellion, it's the end of an era. But not everyone is ready to give up just yet. Even after Jerusalem falls, a few pockets of Jewish resistance remain. The last stand happens at Masada, a fortress perched high on a mountain. Nearly 1,000 Jewish rebels and their families are trapped there, completely surrounded by Roman forces. After months of holding out, they realize there's no escape. Rather than be captured, they choose mass suicide, a final defiant act that will be remembered for centuries. By 73 CE, the war is officially over. Rome has won and Judea is left in ruins. But the consequences of this war are just beginning. The destruction of the temple changes Jewish religious life forever. With their central place of worship gone, the Jewish people turn toward Rabbinic Judaism, a tradition centered around study, prayer, and community rather than temple sacrifices. The Jewish diaspora spreads further, shaping Jewish identity for generations. Meanwhile, Rome celebrates its victory in classic Roman fashion by building a giant monument. The Arch of Titus, still standing in Rome today, proudly displays the spoils of war, including the sacred menorah taken from the temple. As for Vespasian, his success on the battlefield earns him the ultimate promotion. He becomes emperor and starts the Flavian dynasty. The message is clear: Rome is unstoppable. Our main source for this war comes from Flavius Josephus, the same guy who once fought against Rome before switching sides. His book, The Jewish War, gives us a detailed, if somewhat biased, account of what happened. Other Roman sources also document the sheer scale of the destruction and Rome's determination to crush any future rebellions. And yet, despite Rome's overwhelming power, Jewish resistance doesn't end here. A few decades later, the Bar Kokhba revolt, from 132 to 135 CE, erupts, leading to even harsher Roman crackdowns and the renaming of Judea to Syria-Palestina. The First Jewish-Roman War wasn't just a rebellion, it was a turning point that reshaped an entire civilization. Its legacy still echoes today, commemorated in Jewish rituals like Tisha B'Av, a day of mourning for the destruction of the temple. This war wasn't just about military conquest, it was about identity, survival, and the clash between empire and faith. The Jewish rebels fought with everything they had, the Romans responded with brutal force, and the consequences shaped the future of both Jewish and Roman history. I'll leave you to discuss in the comments about whether you think this war was inevitable, or if history could have played out differently. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Take care of yourselves, take care of your loved ones, and I'll catch you soon in another video.